The 2024-2025 Milwaukee Bucks. An absolute travesty of a disgraceful collapse of an epic choke job. An ugly Doc Rivers masterclass only he can pull off. As this seemed, the Bucks would live another day. You just couldn't find a more brutal way to lose a game like that. There's a reason why Gary vet minimum trend, not a big contract guy. Starts 0 of 7, then goes 8 of 9, looks like the best player on the floor, to committing 2 of the worst turnovers imaginable, looking for a bag, maybe a huge bag of weed. From hero to zero, Pacers ending Giannis' Bucks tenure on an 8-0 run, the final 35 seconds of overtime, Greek Freak having players absolutely useless, from the coaching staff to Kevin Porter to Kyle warming the bench Kuzma and Torian Wallace Darvinham's princess. The most painful Bucks loss this century, even worse than 2023 Game 5 Miami, having the worst choke many seen, then going to lose your best player in franchise history in a matter of weeks. It's not therapy session for Bucks fans, it's a funeral. Say adios to your franchise. Milwaukee might not make the playoffs for another decade. Eliminated in grueling fashion, another disappointing first round exit, as the Damian Lillard experiment couldn't have gone much worse. Not only will the franchise not be relevant, but the Bucks' time with their greatest franchise superstar has officially run out after the 9-time All-Star has made it clear he wanted to stay. But there's a tipping point, and first and foremost, he's a champion and now purely wants to focus on pursuing more championships. We've seen this movie before 50 years ago when a young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar demanded out after the 75-76 season, traded to the Lakers as his teammates were getting old. 28-year-old Kareem proceeded to play 14 more seasons, all with the City of Angels, won 3 more MVPs and 5 titles, essentially being a 1A or 1B for half his Showtime titles. Had Abdul-Jabbar never demanded out and stayed in the small market, there's no guarantee he even win another championship, and possibly wouldn't even be top 5 all-time player discussion. But given his unreal longevity, individual, and playoff success, Cap viewed by most number 3 all-time, behind the 2 most of you obsessed arguing about. For years, Giannis was the face of loyalty in the rare modern NBA, with many superstar players switching teams every couple years. Even after several playoff defeats from 2019 and 2020, the then 24 and 25-year-old simply didn't have the necessary teammates to step up when it mattered most. Given all the rumors possibly signing with Miami after the bubble, Giannis himself, being drafted by the Bucks as an unknown mid-first rounder, decided to remain committed in pursuit of a title. Given his team's flaws, Coach Bud on brink of getting fired after the disastrous job in the bubble, until one change happened, snatching Jrue Holiday away from the losing Pelicans, getting rid of playoff no-show Bledsoe, allowed Milwaukee to make the proper plays in pivotal crunch time moments throughout the 21 playoffs, leading to narrow wins over the Nets and Suns. The then 26-year-old, on top of the basketball world, accomplished everything needed for the game, later officially became the youngest top 75 player. More championships supposed to come his way, but 2022 team destined to repeat until second option Chris Middleton went down, didn't play the Boston series. The 30-year-old, being in his prime then, averaged over 23 the title run. Giannis and Jrue Holiday did everything they can against a more well-rounded Boston squad. Giannis put up 34, 15, and 7, still not enough. Another missed opportunity. 2023 franchise enjoyed a league best 58 wins, but first game of the playoffs, Kevin Love's charge drawn resulted in a back contusion, going up against red hot Miami led by vintage Jimmy Butler. Coach Bud also tragically lost his brother prior to Game 4, forgot to call timeout, blew a 16-point Game 5 lead, losing the series in painful fashion.
With a half second to go. What a play call. Milwaukee had a timeout and didn't use it.
Then fired a week later, the biggest mistake Milwaukee made, leading to Giannis' demise. Despite Budenholzer's flaws, was always a better option than rookie head coach half a season of Adrian Griffin. Then came Mr. King of 31 Shivers of a disastrous tenure. Who could possibly have thought it'd be a good idea having the most cursed coach known for notorious collapses? This time, it wasn't any of the blown leads, but injuries, lack of player change, and key guys aging that led to the downfall of Giannis' time in Wisconsin. The fact of the matter is, for somebody who's considered a top 2 to 3 player in the NBA the last 6-7 years, Giannis way too good to have consecutive first round exits, regardless of circumstances. All the best players in their primes always find a way to have good enough teammates or to at least make their playoff losses more competitive. Whether they lose in round 2, conference finals, or the NBA finals, the defensive identity of this Milwaukee team when having Drew enable Giannis to free safety around but replace him with Dame Lillard. Not only is he a defensive liability, snatching him at 33 years old, being on a losing team each of his last 2 years in Portland, that fit always been awkward. The Bucks' identity lost overnight, no more consistency, the weakest defensive backcourt last season with Dame and Malik Beasley neck and neck with the Wizards. Brook Lopez finally getting old, close to unplayable these playoffs. Combined with the banged up Middleton, Giannis did way too much carrying. Teams still winning games by sheer talent alone, simply not enough to be serious contenders in the long run. Management simply panicked, giving away All-Star Holiday, who was having his best individual season. The moment Boston got their hands on Giannis' second best player, only to turn into the Celtics' fifth option, became a brutal failure for Milwaukee. The sad thing about that was, the Bucks and Celtics never got a chance to meet after 2022 in postseason, when the East supposed to be either one of these teams getting to the finals. It appeared Boston and Holiday will heavily be seeking for his third title in 5 seasons. Giannis won playoff series 1 since his title, an absolute unacceptable standard of a travesty failure, no matter how great he is. For an all-time great like that, it's all about championships, everything else secondary. If John Horst had to do the Dame trade over again, he wouldn't have done it. Teams should have gotten rid of the unreliable Middleton instead of Drew. The Eastern Conference also much better with more serious teams than last decade. Giannis might be by far the best player the Pacers series, but if the other teams have better role players from 3 to 10, averaging 34 a game alone, not beating a high-power offense, it's no accident why team ended with mediocre results with a mediocre coach in Doc Rivers. Underachieving with superstar players will be Doc's most memorable legacy. After Lillard's painful blood clot news, the uncertainty for a couple weeks only led to doubts for this team. Many knew they wouldn't have gotten out of round 1, but after a miraculous recovery in a short time, Lillard came back but couldn't do much. Rusty 14 points, 4 of 13 game 2, sadly toward his Achilles 6 minutes into game 4. Many question whether he returned too soon, similar to what happened with Kevin Durant in 2019. Dame having 2 years left on his contract. Believe it or not, Lillard now a little older in age than what Kobe was when he tore his Achilles 2013. Giannis already 30 years old, knowing he probably passed the midway point of his career. Unless there's some LeBron type longevity, he won't be super athletic, running and dunking on guys forever. The regular season miles will need to be managed and paced, as many vets know how to prepare themselves when in position for contending for a title. Having useless teammates like Taurean Prince and Kyle Kuzma, both terrible on all levels. Seeing a top 15 to 20 player all time getting coached by Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham, a double no-no, a true basketball tragedy. Milwaukee might have to force and trade Dame too, clearing their cap for a full rebuild. Dame himself will already be 36 next time he's on the basketball court. Suppose he missed the entire next season. Indy treated Game 4 like a typical regular season matchup, dropped 129 on 36 assists, 8 guys in double figures, while $22 million Kyle absolute travesty Kuzma, 3 points on 1 of 6. Look at his stats for this series, absolutely disgusting. Kyle Kuzma should never play for a contender again. Send him to Shanghai. Brook 2-0 Lopez has done many good for the franchise on verge for a vet minimum. And Gary Inconsistent Trent Jr. just ruined everything. Everything that happened in Game 4 and 5 proved the icing in the cake as Giannis' final game in a Bucks uniform. Organization letting go of older brother Thanasis already pissed Giannis off. The organization will have to honor whatever Giannis demands. Loyal Bucks fans will cheer for Giannis wherever he goes until he retires. There's nothing left for the Milwaukee Bucks now. No draft picks, no good players left to trade for, and absolutely no good option to replace any production from Dame, Chris Middleton, or Drew Holiday. It's only a matter of when Giannis himself officially demands out. GM John Horst will have to understand the repercussions of not damaging the franchise's reputation if he don't treat his star players well, and listen to Giannis wherever he wants to go. When Milwaukee already an unattractive destination for many players, if Greek Freak somehow decides to not request out, Milwaukee will love to keep him for as long as possible, but they're not going anywhere. Giannis, just like all the best players, deserves to play true meaningful basketball past the month of April, and that's simply not going to exist in Milwaukee for the next half decade, wasting away 2026, one precious year of peak NBA basketball he'll never get back if he stays. Can a combination of Jalen Green, Eason, and Reed Shepherd with some picks be enough for a Houston-Milwaukee trade? Or can a Devin Vassell, Steven Castle, and a variety of picks from San Antonio move Milwaukee or even a team like OKC if they don't end up winning it this year but just need one more piece? There's easily over 20 teams that'll make some type of call for the second best player in the game, some of them willing to risk their whole future. If there's teams out there stupid enough to give up everything for Bradley Beal, someone like Giannis who's a million times better, the summer's gonna get crazy. Nothing is out of the table for an all-time great talent. With one more title, he'll go down as the second greatest power forward all time. Could the Motor City be an option, teaming up with Cade Cunningham or perhaps Orlando if they give up Franz? Giannis' future, all in his hands, controls his own destiny. Being a breath of fresh air in the player empowerment era, loyalty has its place, but when your team ain't good enough, resulting in constant first round exits and endless choke job embarrassments, given the load of talent in today's game, there's never been a time this century where 60 different players can be talked about as all-star caliber. This is not the same Eastern Conference back in 2007 or 2018 when Bron did his one-man carry jobs to the finals. It's 2025, relying on one superstar to carry the load, simply nowhere near enough to overcome the depth of 10 good rotational worthy players. Being incredibly dominant, single-handedly dragged himself third in MVP, a walking candidate every season, about to have 7 straight All-NBA first team selections, a much improved passer, capable of finding the open man more so than previous years. There's an argument this is the most complete version of Giannis. Teams like New York and LA not out of reach, especially if Greek Freak decides to follow Kareem's footsteps. Giannis will already have his Magic Johnson as in Luka Doncic, wanting to win a title as badly as anybody. Giannis also smart enough to not go to a franchise that'll gut their roster just to get him, leaving his next team limited. Teams such as the Rockets and Thunder, even the Cavs as a dark horse, if they end up getting upsetted by Indiana, gotta be a team more than interested to shape up their roster. Whoever gets eliminated by the middle of May, failing to reach the conference finals, only needing a superstar to hoist the Larry O come 2026, a couple of those teams will be making calls. Unless we see Jokic Nuggets get bounced by the Clippers, whatever playoff team this season that's not already eliminated lands Giannis, there's no doubt they'll become top 3 title favorites 13 months from now. The offseason gonna be just as intense as anything we've seen in recent times.